So our first exercise in increasing the deficit or focusing on eccentric strength is an extended eccentric Olympic lift. Now, one of the things that I want to go through before we demonstrate what this will look like is the premise of maybe a snatch over a clean for extended eccentrics or something where we're trying to increase a deficit. Because if you look at the snatch, we have a larger range of motion, and we move through a larger range of motion, we can leverage that eccentric just a little bit longer. A lot of times when we do hang cleans or clean-based things, which are going to be a part of the program, absolutely, you find that it's really hard to time that eccentric. And one of the things that we talk about in the book was trying to get to that end range of force length, stretch the connective tissue, series elastic component, trying to create more tighten, or that connective tissue within the sarcomere. So if I can get deeper ranges and more range in general, you might find a better transition to increasing that deficit. Now, one of the things that we're going to focus on with increasing the deficit is trying to understand, how do I want to move here? And this might feel counterintuitive when you start to go through this with your athletes of an extended eccentric snatch, where if I get here under a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 type of tempo, they might feel really weak. But that's kind of the point, right? We're trying to put them in a higher constraint environment to make it more challenging. And when we're thinking about, we're really focusing on increasing the deficit, it's not about how much I can snatch, it's a matter of how much I can snatch with a 5-0XO tempo or a 6-0XO tempo or whatever you want to throw in there for a tempo that you think would be adequate. I've worked up to a 10-second eccentric on this. So as we start to build in that eccentric, I'm not worried about necessarily how much weight's on the bar. I'm worried about controlling that eccentric and then turning that over into a full snatch. So we're thinking about lowering down for a 5, 6, 7, maybe even an 8-second eccentric as I go up. Now, what are you judging this as? Did I get the bar over my head? Did it look clean? Did I turn it over? Yes, that's all we're trying to really accomplish. Big rules on weightlifting is close, fast, and deep. So if I really want to get that full benefit of the movement while increasing the deficit, a snatch going through that full range might be a little bit more beneficial. Now, other caveat here, as you're going through this, grip is going to be more taxed because we have a longer eccentric. Straps might be a great option here. And one of the things that we found when we're looking at increasing that deficit and doing more elongated RDLs, more elongated snatches, even doing cleans, that we actually might need to use an actual strap to be able to hold the bar that length. So that's something to think about as well. So extended eccentric, 5, 6, 7, maybe a single, double, or triple type of rep scheme, and then looking at how long can I get that eccentric time in something like a snatch turnover. And the other big part, we talk about this a lot with increasing the deficit, is leveraging that stress shortening cycle. And a lot of times we look at it, we're trying to increase that deficit. And one of the big parts of that is thinking about the muscle spindles, or the things that respond to stretch, are now getting downturned. And I can get a quicker turnaround, shorter amortization phase, and I can get more from that movement. So extended eccentrics is our first movement for increasing the deficit.